This is Electrifying Mojo, WMXD, Detroit. 92.3 FM, Electrifying Mojo. Okay, we're going to be here until 1 o'clock tonight. We're going to have some fun. But lucky, I want to give you a tip. What I want you to do right now, if you have a blank tape around your house, I want you to go find it. I mean, I could tell you at the last minute, but you might tape over something, and of course you would say, well, I'm glad I did, but I'm giving you a chance to get a blank tape. And in just a few moments, I'll tell you what to do with it, okay? There's a gentleman in the studio right now who happens to think that you are one of the most special audiences in radio. And you know what? He made a special trip to town to talk to you. And when you find out who this gentleman is, then you'll know how special you are. I'm going to say hello to him, and then I'm going to let you tell me who it is. And the moment that you tell me who it is, I'll have a copy of his brand new single just for you. So we're going to say hello to him now. You ready? Okay, here we go. Hello, how are you doing?
Fine, Mojo. How are you?
All right, how's everything?
Fine. Everything's great.
Yeah, we were just talking about your new diet.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it works like it's like the first day is all fruit, no bananas. The second day is all vegetables with the baked potato at night. The third day is fruit and vegetables, no potato. The fourth day is bananas and skim milk, like 8 bananas and 8 glasses of skim milk throughout the day.
Wow.
And the fifth day is all this beef you can eat and vegetables. Then you have a soup that you have to make, a tomato soup. You drink as much of that as you want. And the sixth day is beef and vegetables, stuff, it says. You eat as much as you want. And then the seventh day is brown rice and vegetables. And it works out great because you have something to look forward to,
Man. So how's it been so far?
It's been great for me. I lost at least 20 pounds.
20 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
Over what period of time?
About 7 weeks.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I took it slow this time,
Well, I'm going to go to the telephone lines right now, see if you can tell me who this is. First person that can tell me who it is, then I'm going to give you a copy of his brand new single. And the second person that can tell me who it is, even after you find out who it is, I'm going to give you a copy of the single just because you are you.
All right.
So here we go. 92.3, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
All right, what's going on?
Nothing.
You're laughing like you think you know. Oh, you know, don't you?
I'm taking a guess.
Okay.
Luther Vandross?
Luther Vandross. Well, it's not Luther, but I'll tell you what.
What?
You are definitely in the right galaxy. Okay?
Okay.
You're in the galaxy of the stars. Thank you for calling, okay?
Okay, bye-bye.
92.3?
Yes.
Hello, how are you?
Fine.
What's going on? What's your name?
Liz.
What's up, Liz?
Nothing much.
Who's this in the studio with me?
Gerald Levert.
No, it's not Gerald Levert.
Okay.
And I have no galactic comments.
Oh.
Okay, well, thank you, all right?
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. 92.3?
Yeah, Mojo.
Yeah.
How you doing, partner?
All right.
That's Mr. George Jefferson, Sherman Hemsley.
Who?
Sherman Hemsley.
Who?
Sherman Hemsley, moving on up to the east side.
Wait a minute now.
What do you say, George?
Hey.
Wait a minute. Who you said is, man?
That's Mr. Sherman Hemsley.
What would Sherman Hemsley be doing in Detroit?
Well, he was
in the studio
not too long back, and he got a nice album out. I heard the cut when you played it. That's my main man,
so
George.
Now, what would George be doing down here in the studio?
He hanging out like wet clothes.
What's your name?
This is Dave Cameron Mojo.
Well, we're moving on
All right. Hang on 1 minute. Hang on a minute, Dave.
Okay.
We'd like to welcome Mr. Sherman Hemsley. Some of you know him as George Jefferson. Well, you know him about a lot of names, but tonight he's Sherman Hemsley. We're going to talk about all of those other parts that this multi-talented individual plays. But tonight we want to talk about Sherman Hemsley for a while, because there's something more to George Jefferson. There's the real Sherman Hemsley. There's the power behind George. When you first started in this business and you received a lot of notoriety, with the Jeffersons, is it hard maintaining your own identity? I mean, do you ever get your own identity lost in the character? Because that was such an overwhelmingly popular character all over the world.
No, I never did. Because first of all, I had been doing like acting for a while. Like back in Philadelphia, I did a lot of stage work and stuff. So to me, it was just another character. I didn't expect it to just take off like that. Because like in this business, how it is, you do one job, you move on to your next job, and then it's like a gypsy type of a lifestyle. So I mean, I never get caught up in it, because I throw the script away the night I leave, and I'm back to me.
Look here. What we're going to do right now is we're going to play the new single from the brand new George, from the brand new Sherman Hemsley album. Just for those out there who thought I would slip up, that's the one for you. So I'll tell you what, for that slip up, you give me a call at 298-7923, and I'll give you a copy of this record that's about to play now. It's 92.3 FM. Electrifying Mojo. We're live in the studio right now with Mr. Sherman Hemsley. And it's a pleasure to have you in Detroit.
Thank you, Mojo.
Sorry it's such a rainy day.
Oh, that's fine. It's beautiful in here, I tell you.
We have to tell Dave you didn't get wet, though.
Oh, no.
Well, look, when you let's talk about the life of Sherman Hemsley. What an exciting life. You've entertained millions of people for such a long time, and you're still a regular guy. You came in here. I mean, it's just like I've been knowing you all my life in a personal kind of way. You just walked in the studio. Let's talk about when you first decided that you wanted to pursue acting as a career, or did it happen like that?
Well, see, it started in elementary school and doing plays and stuff like that. I realized at that point that was something that I felt comfortable doing, acting, you know. But I sort of put it out of my mind when I got into junior high school. In the junior high school, I got involved with quartet harmonizing, you know, on the corners and stuff. Then I wanted to be a group singer, you know, like the Clovers or, you know, one of those doo-wop type guys. And that was really what I was serious about. But I never wanted to be a lead singer because I didn't think I was a lead singer. I wanted to be a second or a first tenor, right? And then that was what I wanted to do. And then after I got in the service and came out, decided that that wasn't it either, because by that time things had changed and it wasn't as popular during that time in the 60s. So then I decided to be a jazz musician, right? I wanted to play the bass because modern jazz quartet were my idols, and Percy Heath was from Philadelphia. And I figured I could just jump up and start playing, right? But that didn't work out. So finally something just clicked. Go back to what you know best. So acting was what I felt most comfortable, so I figured I'd start studying that, and worked around Philadelphia for 7 years doing local theater and stage and stuff like that to prepare myself for the big move. When I go to New York, I'd be ready and I wouldn't stumble. And the singing thing, I knew I had that in the back of my mind, but musical comedy was my background.
Okay, what was your first big break in New York?
My first big break in New York was Pearly on Broadway. Pearly, the musical by Ozzie Davis. Mm-hmm. He wrote it.
And then you got somebody just saw you there and they said, "Look, I got this script I want you to read. It's going to be a sitcom. It's going to be one of the hottest things that ever hit the country." How did that happen when you came about doing the Jeffersons? Was that right after Pearly?
Well, see, during Pearly, the first year, Melba Moore and Cleavon Little were the stars of Pearly, and so Norman Lear, from who started the All in the Family thing, he came to see the show one Saturday night. And he just happened to notice me, and he said he liked something in my personality, that he wanted to use me in one of his projects. He wasn't sure then where to use me because he hadn't really had All the Family together by then. So then I had a screen test, and then but Pearly ran for 3 years, so he said, "Well, we'll keep you in mind." So I figured that was the end of that, right? So when Pearly closed after 3 years, I got into another show, Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope, which was a traveling company from Toronto, San Francisco company. So I figured if I got to San Francisco, then I could contact those people in Hollywood, and maybe they still would remember me and have something for me, right? So I got to San Francisco, and I did call them. And the day I called, it just so happened something was telling me, I was walking down the street, and I had one dime in my pocket, and the showman was about ready to close in the next week, right? And I didn't have any place to go back to because everything I owned was with me. My little suitcase with the rope around it, my 2 little kittens and stuff. So I didn't have a place to go, so I said, well, the voice kept saying, call CBS, right? So I said, okay. Next thing I know, I'm in the phone booth, call and collect. Felt bad about that, too. But then just so happens the lady picks up the phone, Sylvia. I remember Sylvia Ogilvy. She was the secretary for Jane Murray, who was the casting lady for Norman Lear. And I said, "This is Sherman Hemsley." She said, "Oh, stop. Before you say anything else, give me your phone number. Where you been?" It just so happens they had been looking for me all over the city. But by me not having an agent or a home, they couldn't find me. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those type things that, like bang, it's just like something you'd read in a book,
That's incredible. So after that, how long did it take to put the show together and to put the show together as it appeared on television?
Well, see, right then I went down. The following day, I was supposed to go. I had to go right down to Hollywood, and that was my first episode of All in the Family. They were casting for that part, and they needed somebody right away. It was just amazing. I went down, I got that part, and they liked me, and then they wrote me into another script, right? And then the third script was when they decided to spin off and do the Jeffersons.
Okay, did you How did that go on the first tape? And you taped it, and how long was it before it appeared actually on television?
Oh, I guess it was about 3 weeks after.
After the
Yeah,
taping?
you should usually 7 weeks ahead of schedule. When you're going, like we're going around July, usually by the time October rolls around is when the season starts. You have about 7 shows in the can. So, in case something falls back, that's not working, you can always pull it out and replace it with something else. So I guess it was about 3 or 4 weeks before they showed it.
Now, after they showed it, after that first week, you were still living in New York then?
No, I wasn't living. I was living in California. I didn't have any place to go back to. Like I said, when I went down to California and I did that show, I didn't know what was going to happen after that.
Right.
No idea.
So, from the time that it showed for the first time, after that time, how long was it before it was impossible for you to walk the streets?
Oh well, it was a long time before that. After that, it was a while. Not until the Jeffersons.
Yeah.
I did 6 All in Families, and then we had our show. The Jeffersons came on. And I guess it was about, the Jeffersons about maybe a year or so like that, something, maybe longer.
Mm-hmm. So when you have a face that's when you have a household face,
Mm-hmm.
how do you cope? Getting from, do you go downtown? Do you go in? How do you get to the back door of an airport? How do you get around?
It's you just have to walk through it sometimes. Sometimes I can go through it and take detours, but if I have to do it, I have to do it, because I've always wanted to, I've never been afraid of people. I've always been like, I can mingle and go any place, It never bothered me, I always wanted to be, that's all I ever wanted to be, just people to know that I'm not out to hurt, You don't have to worry about me hurting you. You just, hi, how you doing? And I just let everybody live their life and I live mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just never feel offensive or, have to be defensive.
You've done All in the Family, you've done the Jeffersons, Amen, and now the music project that you want to do, something that's been inside you for quite some time, even before the stage, before the theater. Now that you're finally getting this out of you, this first project, how does it feel?
It feels great because I have this show. I have this show that I've been working on for 7 years. Like my Broadway, they call it a Las Vegas Review. That's what it is now, because that's the only way I could get established. Is the only place to do a stage show nowadays is Las Vegas. So I had to design a show, especially for Las Vegas, which consists of like a review type thing with the little glitter, blah blah blah. And then I was preparing myself for this album because I knew eventually I would be making an album because like my manager and producers and people had to talk to me and say, "Go ahead, Sherman, you can do it." I said, "Nah, man, you can't." And I figured my age would have something to do with it because now people go into this biological year thing, and I'm nowhere near with, the age bracket that I'm supposed to be as far as thinking goes, like I've always been, for some reason, been in the year 2000 waiting for everybody to kind of catch up, music, my knowledge of music is more vast than my knowledge of plays and stuff like that. Because music, all my life I've been into music.
It's 92.3 FM, Electrifying Mojo, and we're live with Sherman Hemsley at 92.3 The Mix. A few people I promised I'd say hello to. I'd like to say hello to Eric Johnson and also to Ebony Johnson. Checking out Sherman Hemsley. And maybe I might be able to get him to say hello to Ebony and Eric.
Yeah, hello, Ebony and Eric. How you doing?
All right, now you have it live from the man. This is Electrifying Mojo. WMXD, Detroit. We're here live with Sherman Hemsley. He thought you were special and he came to Detroit. Just talk to you, one-on-one. So I imagine that you're somewhere sitting down, real comfortable. So is he. And here he is. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right, here's Sherman.
Hey, Sherman.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, outstanding. How you doing?
Oh, great, buddy.
Hey, listen, I was just telling Mojo, I was listening to you on the radio. I just got off work, and I turned you on, and I'm listening to you talk about your manager wanted you to do an album, and you didn't think you were ready for it. And I'm thinking, of course, you're talking comedy, and I'm thinking, what's this guy talking about? His delivery's good. He's a funny man. And they put your music on. Outstanding.
Oh, well, thank you.
Can't get enough. Now, usually I'd be asking to play a little Marvin right now, but I think I want to hear a little more Sherm.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay.
All right. Well, look, thank you very much for calling, all right?
Hey, you all take care.
All right,
Thank
have
you,
a good
bro.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
92.3.
Hey, how you doing, Mojo?
Fine. How you doing?
All right.
Here's Sherman Hemsley.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, hello there. Who's this?
This Ken.
Hey, Ken, how you doing, buddy?
No, but hey, look here, I love your album,
Well, thank you.
and I'd like to know, in the comedy between you and Red Fox, y'all are outstanding guys. You know, before you and him, the only one really had me going on, you know, between you comedy wise. And I love to see you every night and in the morning, you know. But for us comedy wise, I'd like to know, do you think you'll be making any more episodes of Jefferson or Amen? Or
No more Jefferson's or Amen, but there's talk I'm going to be doing another series coming up, possibly to be released in January, mid-season. I'm supposed to start on it next month. I don't know too much about it yet, but it's all in the works right now, writing, you know. But hopefully it'll be, you know, up to par. If it's not, I won't even touch it.
yeah. Okay, nice talking to you.
All right, bro. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye. 92.3.
Hi, Mojo.
All right, how are you?
I'm fine, Mr. Hensley. I
Hello.
want to take off my hat to you and say that you're not only just an accomplished comedian, actor, but an accomplished singer as well. If the remainder of your album is anything like this first cut that we've been hearing tonight, it's magnificent.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
My question to you would be, does it bother you that we and the media and everyone here that is so exposed to all of your talent confuse your name to be that as George Jefferson, a.k.a. Sherman Hensley?
Well, see, sometimes it did, but now as I look back, it was meant to be that way because those years were devoted to George Jefferson and Deacon Fry to establish Sherman, the person who creates them, right?
Okay.
So now I feel as if I'm in my prime because those are just two characters out of my whole repertoire, right? And it sounds like a braggy thing, but I mean that's just something, two parts. But now I have other things I want to do, which starts with this album. And with this album, then you know, like I said, if it does well, then I have all kinds of creative ideas that are mine that I've been holding close so nobody could abuse them, you know, until the time was right. And now the time is right for me to open up and
Wonderful.
reveal
You
myself.
sound like a man that's way ahead of its time.
Oh, thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Bye now.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, hello. How you doing?
Hello. All right. How you
Hello.
doing?
Hey, this is JJ Mojo.
Okay, JJ.
I've been involved in music, you know, for 15 years now as a club DJ in around the city of Detroit. And that cut there sounds real good there. You know, you got a chance there to make it, you know, real big there. Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
I'm just, you know, congratulations. That sounds real good to me. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you.
Real good.
Okay.
So you got a chance to sell like a million albums.
Well, thank you a lot.
Well, all right then.
Appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you very much for calling, okay?
Okay, buddy.
This is Electrifying Mojo. WMXD.